Welcome to this week's EMBN show. We're taking a look at the new Orbea Rise Hydro.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got all the regulars as well. Bike Vault, Tech of the Week, out and about. Come on, you can't miss it. Let's do it. Yes, welcome to this week's EMBN show, and I'm joined by the great Martyn Ashton. And I'm joined by the fabulous Chris Smith. Chris, I've got a lot of questions this week because I'm quite excited, as I know you are, about the new Orbea Rise Hydro. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's a super exciting bike coming from Orbea. So, as you guessed it, it's made out of aluminium instead of carbon, and Orbea say this is the lightest e-bike out there with this kind of range that is available at the moment. Big claims for sure.
Yeah, and it's got the EP8 RS motor on it, which is also on the carbon version. But yeah. So what's so special about that motor?
So the EP8 RS, so this is their Rider Synergy firmware that controls the motor. They've downed the power of this to 60 Newton meters instead of the regular 85 Newton meters that the EP8 produces. And in turn, it's given it a different kind of ride feel, more natural kind of ride feel, and of course, a little bit more economical too.
Okay, and working with this battery that is specific to the Rise.
Yeah.
So it's all built into that down tube, bit more stealth,
yeah.
Bit more subtle.
Yeah. So the great thing about the Rise is the silhouette that it's got. The down tube is pretty similar to a standard mountain bike. It's got a 540 watt hour internal battery on this bike. It's got 250 watt hour range extender if you do want that bigger range from it. But yeah, really sleek, nice looking bike, I think this.
It is a fabulous looking bike, brand new from Orbea.
Yeah, coming in at £4,599 for that basic entry level model. You've got three different models in the range, but you can select the different components for this bike. But yeah, great alternative to the Rise Carbon, which the aluminium version is only 1.5 kilos difference in weight.
Which is nothing.
It's £1,100 cheaper for this bike. So you're getting the same bike, and aesthetically they've worked on all the weld, so it looks really cool and smooth as well. I think if you were looking at it, you wouldn't actually notice the difference between the aluminium and the carbon one. And yeah, genuinely excited about this. And 800 watt hours if you combine all those extenders and that battery together. So big days out on the hills, nice looking bike.
Love it. Quick question, when do you think you'll be riding one?
Don't know, I want to have a spin on one of these bad boys for sure. Right, next up, we've got a cool little bit of tech here from Lalo. Now, if you're a Bosch Purion user, you've got that unit, the control unit, mounted up by your brake lever and your grips. It can be a little bit prone to damage if you crash or put your bike upside down, but the guys at Lalo have introduced a headset spacer, which has got a little mount onto it, which brings the actual display inboard right by the stems. It's got a lot of protection going on, and I think it's quite a good alternative to how it's mounted. What do you think?
Yeah, I get what you're doing with it. I get the idea. It's bringing it in. It is a little bit more shock resistant if the bike gets turned upside down in a crash or something like that. But I'm just worried about knee exposure. Like, your knee's not going to hit it. I feel like you might be moving it from one place to another. It's definitely neat. Don't get me wrong. Cool, I don't hate it, but I don't think it's the complete solution.
And I think sometimes it's nice to have that Purion thing right by your thumb, so you can plus and minus the power modes. Obviously, to change modes, you're going to have to move your thumb inboard, maybe taking your hand off the bars. Could be a bit of loss of control, but depends on how you use that bike. Obviously, the Bosch system has that eMTB mode, which is like an automatic selection of power. So essentially, you don't have to touch it once you've done it once. So could be a good answer. Weighs in at 20 grams and it costs £20.
That's not a bad price or weight. Good idea though. Why don't you let us know in the comments section down below, because displays on e-bikes, it's actually a big thing, and it's only going to become more apparent on the bike and more sophisticated. So where should that be on the bike? Should it be on the top tube? That's a good place for it. Should it be up on the bars? Let us know in the comments down below. Right, let's talk about some more bikes. We've talked about the Orbea. Now we can talk about Cotic. They've got an e-bike coming, but apparently not this century.
No, it's not going to be a while. So yeah, Cotic have just released a new prototype version of their bike, and it looks really cool. It's made out of aluminium this time instead of steel. Cotic usually produce steel bikes.
Yeah, traditionally steel bikes,
exactly,
right?
But they said they didn't want to produce a steel e-bike because it probably would have an external battery and skinny tubes. It just looks a bit odd, so they've done it in aluminium. But as Martyn mentioned, mentioned, it isn't going to be available for 2 or 3 years just due to supply issues with the motors and the batteries and things coming up. But they have got a mailing list if you are interested in this bike to get involved and keep up to date with updates as to when it's going to be available. And it looks pretty sweet, I think.
Yeah, it does look nice. Looks like a good bike. And they're quite a cool brand, but I may have exaggerated a little bit. It's going to be a wait. Right, let's take a look at this Kids Ride shotgun little adaptation.
It's cool,
Some
isn't it?
pretty nice little mitts for your kids. I like this. This is a great idea because ride shotgun, the kids' hands do get freezing cold.
They do.
Even on not that cold a day, because you've got the speed going past, they start moaning, don't they?
Exactly. I was out for that just last weekend, actually. My kids, you either have the option of spending about half an hour trying to thread your kids' fingers into their gloves and then moaning, or you do it without and they'll be like, Daddy, I'm cold, I want to stop. But this Kids Ride shotgun pogies look like they're going to put an end to this. They're coming in at £40, just going to keep your kids' hands nice and warm on those rides. I wish I did some adult.
Yeah, I was just going to say, they'd be great for us, wouldn't they? Yeah.
Nice. Maybe get some oven mitts on the go, I reckon that could be the answer.
Definitely. They do look a bit like oven gloves. And I've just had another thought, Chris. Why don't we try and set up a bike where I ride shotgun with you? And I could just scooch in front of you and you could huddle round me like a big Chris cuddle.
Hit those big Windhill Pro line.
We could do some of your famous manuals.
Yeah.
I ain't got that much time on my hands, to be honest.
Some bigger forearms for that as well, I reckon.
Right, let's dive into the EMBN shop because there's some Christmas bundles.
Yeah, we've got all that going on. If you want to get your e-bike in your life some Christmas goodies, head into that merch shop. Absolutely rammed. Hoodies, hats, t-shirts, you name it, it is all in there. It's a great way of supporting us here on EMBN.
Yes, and they also do this amazing puffer jacket. Have you seen? Oh no!
GMBN?
Oh no. Coming up on EMBN this week, it's going to be a busy one. What we got, Chris?
Yeah, on Friday we've got those unwritten trail rules for your e-mountain bike. All those things you definitely should be doing out there on the trails.
Absolutely. And on Sunday, we've got your first eMTB weekend away.
Yeah, so it's me giving you a few tips on how to get the most out of your first weekend away, however you're going to do it, adventure or maybe a bit of a scenic trip down the coast. Got all the things going on in
Battery-operated tents,
Exactly,
stuff like that.
You got it all.
Yeah, I've got it.
And on Monday, we're taking a look at Stefan Schlee's bike, his Mondraker. Now, you know this guy, don't you?
Yes, from way back in the day, Stefan Schlee was an icon of 20-inch trials riding.
Nice.
Yeah, he was actually legit
Yeah.
cool, which is rare for trials riders, and very, very good. So, yeah, I'm really interested to see what he's doing these days. I haven't seen him for a long time. Hello, Stefan, if you're out there. But, yeah, he's a bit of a big man at Bosch these days.
Looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at some comments and questions based on the Brixton eMTB Festival video we did. First one is from Albie Ball, and he says, all very nice, but given the current climate in the industry, how many months before we can expect any of these in our local bike shops?
Months, I think you're going to be lucky. I think maybe, as you saw when we talked about Kotick, some of those big components like the batteries and the motors are actually a couple of years behind at the moment.
Whoa.
So, yeah, I think some of the manufacturers obviously got stock of these bikes that will be coming quicker than that. But yeah, there is a bit of a wait on some of these parts at the minute, unfortunately.
You shocked me then, Chris. John F says, is it me or what? All these exciting bikes are all variations on a theme, some with more bells and whistles. Yes, there's bigger capacity batteries, but they're also bigger in size and heavier, still limited to 250 watts and 15.5 miles per hour. Some have better brakes, suspension gears, some very expensive, but nothing really innovative or game-changing. I don't agree with that.
I was going to say I disagree. I think the bike we've literally just talked about, that new Bear Rise Hydro. Look into that, how much tech and how much things are changing. Like, rewind 3 years and take a look at the bikes that are available then and come to now, and I think you'll
We're not having it, John. Sorry, John. No. But thanks for getting involved. Everyone's got their opinion, and they're worth hearing. Scott has got this for us. It's like the e-bike mafia holds monthly meetings to set prices. Any family undercut the other, and they will be wearing concrete wellies, like an e-bike mob. Chain, cog, and cassette still in 2022. It's like all What does MFGs mean?
Manufacturers.
All manufacturers have 10-year contracts with Shimano SRAM to use their derailleur systems. I think they do.
I don't know.
I think that's probably true. They do.
We have talked about this lots. Obviously, the gearbox side of things moving into e-mountain bikes, but in the minute that derailleur and the cassette is the most efficient way to power a bicycle. Yeah, I want to see it abolished, but I don't know.
Abolished?
Abolished.
Abolished.
Totally. I want to see belt drive. I want to see single-speed belt drive coming in with that gearbox combined. That's going to be the way forward. But I don't think there's an e-bike mafia out there at the moment controlling it all, do you?
I hope not. I don't like the sound of those concrete wellies. Thanks for getting involved, Scott. Right, let's take a look at some tech. Okay, some tech now, and this is very clever from Rene. And he is saying, and this is all about his giant Trance E, and he's saying, I might have a good tip to protect your battery from damaged dirt, rain, and other wet conditions. I'm using a Gore-Tex gaiter for that. See how he's put that gaiter around the down tube, see?
So I'm guessing this is like a gaiter that you use for like walking and keeping your boots dry, quick around your legs, right?
Yeah, I'm happy to share this hack. Well, we're happy to see it. What I was thinking about this, Chris, is this madness? Could it keep the battery a little bit warmer in really cold conditions, or am I being a super dummy?
No, you're not. It's a good question, actually. We see a lot about this, about these sort of neoprene battery protectors, and as we know, a warmer battery should give you that little bit more range, but as to whether these things work, it's yet to be proven. It's a good idea, and I think the hack that you've used is obviously a good way of saving money. Like, these are available specific to each bike, costing around £20 to £30. So if you can get a walking gaiter to fit around your down tube, then you're definitely on to a winner. And I think, it's a good way of protecting all that down tube. And I suppose when the bike's muddy, you can just unclip it and shake all that mud off.
I've just thought, how has he put it on?
I don't know.
Because there's no end.
It must be a zip at the back or something, I suppose, something like that. But
He had it put on when the bike was built. It's very clever.
But I love seeing all those hacks and everything here on EMBN, you know, where you've been riding. Love to see your bikes with a bike vault. Get involved and use the upload service for anything you want us to see on EMBN. The details of that are up on screen now. Get involved and it could be you on next week's show.
Yeah, I'm excited about the bike vault is coming up. But first, we've got to have a look at Out and About, Chris.
Let's go. Okay, it's one of my favourite parts of the show to go out and about to see where you guys have been riding your e-bikes all over the world. And kicking this one off, we've got Daniel here. He's got a Yeti 160 out in San Jose in California, riding with his friends up in the hills of San Jose. He's got a Yeti 160, Specialized Turbo Levo comp, and a Santa Cruz Heckler. A nice, what do you call this, a trio?
Nice little triad.
Triad?
A nice little triad, and I think that's right. I love the Yeti, man.
Nice
I love that Yeti. I'm just such a sucker for that colour.
I've just literally seen one in the flesh. There's one in the lockup here at
and
work.
And how is it?
It looks amazing. Yet to ride it, but it does look good. And that shot is absolutely amazing too.
Next, we have got Sylvain, who is in Avil in Spain with his Olympia EX900 Sport, Chris. Very nice.
Too many of them on the show. Nice.
He don't. He says living in the beautiful mountainous area of Asturias in Spain, but today decided to do some coastal roads. Not bad, eh? Look at that.
Bit of blue sky, bit of sea, can't be that.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
Check this out from Ray with this huge chunk of rock out in Kirkton Glen in Loch Lomond and the Trossachs. A rest before the big descent down to Balkidder with my two mates. Did
you hear that Scottish accent then?
You like that?
That was unbelievable. Carry on, Chris. Carry on.
It's a huge chunk of rock, isn't it? I'd love to see a shot. I reckon you could ride down that. Do you think, from the top?
We've got very like-minded brains there. I was thinking there's a shot there. We've got to get a shot on that. It's very nice.
Yeah,
in the Trossachs. Yeah. Right, next up, we have got Cruss. And I have pronounced Cruss, your name, of course, in which accent, Chris?
Cruss.
Cruss. Who says Cruss, not Chris?
Steve.
No, people in New Zealand. Oh. Okay, here we go. This is the 2021 Specialized Turbon Levo. It says here, but it's Turbo Levo, isn't it? At Cannock Chase? That's never Cannock Chase in the UK.
Well, there was a bit of snow going around that area, wasn't there? A
What?
couple of weeks back, yeah. So I imagine he's been out in that snow, and e-bikes are amazing fun in the snow, sliding around. Looks
I
like
bet they are.
Had a good.
I bet they're
yeah,
great.
Definitely, I've been out for a few times. Can't wait for it to snow here in the UK. Get out there, but yeah, it looks like he's having
It's
an
a
amazing
very
time.
different looking Cannock Chase to what I know, but
Definitely.
great to see all of that riding out and about, where in the world, whatever you'd like to call it. Right, time for the bike vault. We're going to need a bell, Leo, thank you.
Nice.
We shall find out who's super nice and who's not super nice. Starting with Chris.
Francis with his Bumblebee. So he's got an intense Taser Pro. He's out in Menifee in California. Doesn't look very California style, that weather, does it? I was expecting blue skies, but a lot of cloud going on.
What do you think? Should you ring the bell?
Definitely, it's got to be super nice to kick it off.
Super nice. Right, next is Stevens Cannondale Moterra. Location in Montana in the Rocky Mountains. Is that right? Montana, Rocky Mountains? I didn't think that's where that was.
You need Steve Jones for this. Geographical questions.
Wow, my geography is terrible. Anyway, he says, I missed my eMTB and tried it in the snow. The grip is not good as my fat bike, but it was loads of fun slipping and sliding around.
Yeah, definitely.
In Montana, maybe Rocky Mountains. We're not sure. Let us know in the comments down below. What are we giving it, Chris?
It's a Cannondale, Matt.
Well, yeah, I was going to, I mean, I was already ringing the bell. Pre-belling. This is super nice.
Nice. Okay, we've got this Decathlon Stylus, one of the best value e-bikes out there going, I think, at the minute. From Buzz, he's out in a small village, only accessible by cable car in Switzerland. Doesn't actually say the name of the village, but it's a hell of a shot, isn't it? Got some big mountains going on in the background. Bit of a funky angle going on
And
this.
Tamil front, not at the rear.
And kind of balanced on your fork stanchion on the tree. I'm afraid it's just a
Sorry,
nice bike.
Buzz,
I
it's
can see a
nice.
nice line in the background. Look at that kicker up onto that house.
We've moved on, Chris. We've moved on. Right, now, Dave has got us here with his Kenevo Expert in South Okanagan in British Columbia. Never heard of Okanagan. Looks beautiful.
Yes.
This is, like I said, a Kenevo. But what about these triple clamps? That's a change up, isn't it, Chris?
Well, they come with triple clamps on the Expert, so to change them out from the Boxer to an Öhlins fork on there.
Nice.
SRAM Access drivetrain, loads of goodies on this bike. 220mm rotor, so some serious stopping power. What are you thinking? Another super nice.
That was
Giving them away. Check this out. This is a little bit different from that Kenevo Expert, a bit of a skinnier build coming on from this. This is Alfred. He's got a Martyn Ashton 2, so this is kind of their hardtail kind of touring kind of bike. He's out in Fall Creek Falls State Park. 22-mile loop from his house that cuts through the best park in, what's TN?
I don't know. TN. TNB. God, this is geography on this bike vault has been dreadful.
Oh, it was in the
TN.
first bit. I was
Leo,
like,
you're clever.
what is TN?
TN.
In America. TN.
Tennessee.
Yeah. Oh, what are you thinking, man?
Yeah, well, I mean, you'd be thinking from the outset, looking at this photo, that it was a nice, and you'd be right. Next up, we have got Steph's Specialized Turbo Levo 2021, upgraded, Chris.
Nice, yeah.
This is near Lyon, in the south of France, enjoying an epic e-bike ride after some health issues. Well, great to see you back riding, Steph. What do you think, Chris?
I think we're going to end this bike vault with another super nice. Was that all super nices?
I don't think it was also nice. We had a couple of nices in there, but
Yeah.
they were all at least nice, some super.
Yeah, and don't
Love
forget
it.
to keep those bikes coming into us here on EMBN using that upload service. And that is it for this week's show.
Oh,
It's a shame, isn't it?
I was enjoying myself.
But let us know what you think about that new Orbea Hydro, the aluminium version of the popular Rise bike, in the comments box down below. Is it the right direction we should be heading with those lightweight bikes? Bigger batteries, slightly less powerful motors? I think is a pretty interesting concept.
Absolutely. See you next time on the EMBN show.